Woo. Doing it. I'm using the new. So the way YouTube works now is it makes me use the Logic Capture thing. I don't know. Camera's been weird lately. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Full Blast. I'm excited about this one. This is going to be a good one because I've been trying to process just demons in general. My own demon swings, right? So I'm in a little bit of a weird position being a glass lizard. So, as I was spoken about in the other glass lizard videos, my struggle in life, I have the same amount of struggles as anybody else, but it's much more spread out. Like someone like Dave, for instance, right? Or Ty Lopez, they're sort of your standard, mostly standard Myers-Briggs INTJs. Consume last, blast sleep, lead OI at the top, doing the thing. And so they are always going to have SF consume issues. Just going to be a big, big problem with that, right? Mine's weird, right? So I'm an IJ, lead blaster, with play, savior play, but I also have the consume, right? So I'm doubling up on my last function. And one of the things that they are talking about in these glass lizard videos and sort of breaking down how the glass lizards move through the world, our big thing is that we see the half, right? So one of the things, what they talk about is like, you can only see half of the board. You know, you're all in on your two savior functions, and your last function is just a fucking mess, right? That is still true for glass lizards in a lot of ways. Where glass lizards get fucked up, though, it's not that we can't see our demons. We have anecdotally I don't know, I bet this is probably true at scale. Certainly anecdotally true for me. Also anecdotally true for a lot of people I know who are, doubling up on their last function. Shan, I think she's a really good example of this. If you want to see like a glass lizard EJ, who's doubling up on her DI last, right? Her feminine FI in her case. It's that we see it, we just can't fucking do anything about it. So where someone like Dave, when he talks about his journey, he has much more of the like, I was living in townsfolk land and then I am thrust into the darkness, and it's like, oh fuck, I don't even know what is this masculine sensory thing. I didn't even know this existed, right? But with a glass lizard, it's much more about, I see it, I got it, I know what I'm going for, I see my demons very clearly, and I can't do anything, like I can't get there, right? So I've felt this a lot with my masculine SE at the bottom. I have always seen my masculine SE. I've always wanted to embody my masculine SE, but I was never allowed to, right? And for Shannon with her DI, she's always known what she's loved and her FI and the things that she likes and who she is. But it's a matter of, I am not allowed to. I don't have permission to like the things I like. And, again, I'm single activated demon FI as well. So like, whew, girl, I feel you. So I bring those two, instances up because weirdly, I think that glass lizards are useful to study in some respects and not useful in other respects. This is one aspect in which glass lizards are, I think, very, very useful to study and to sort of model after. Because we don't have this overwhelming feeling of, I'm not responsible for that. Like, we don't get as tantrumy about it because we're doubling up on our last function. I think that that's what you're going to see in a lot of people who have been in the personal growth space for a while, who worked on their demons. if you are like, you know, typical Myers-Briggs, doubling up on your first function, save your state, you know, last function is single activated and last and attached to both of your demons, right? Then you're going to be much more on the like pouty, petulant, childish side of things, right? But what that, again, it's you know, where do you want to load up your energy, right? A lot of the people, you know, when we talk about like, well, that guy peaked in high school, we are anecdotally talking about like lead play, usually either audio or double masculine, you know, play like a play consume ESFP kind of person, right? Who is like, yeah, the high school in Oklahoma that you went to just fucking let you rock your saviors all day, didn't have to do any NF demon shit, like double up on that, you know, masculine SE. Yeah, you're gonna do great for yourself if you grew up in small town Oklahoma. You're gonna fucking crush it. And then you're gonna go to OU, maybe on a scholarship, maybe not. Who the fuck knows? But like, then you're gonna go to OU, and you're gonna be like, still being able to probably rock your saviors. It's gonna like, right. And then once you get later in life and you like enter the workforce and start to become aware of your demons slowly, that's when you're gonna get the like, I'm not responsible for NF. I'm just gonna rock my SE and my TE, and like NF, like I don't do that. No, I'm ST guy. That's what I do. Right? Sure. I think that accounts for less of the population, especially nowadays, than we maybe think. A lot of what I am seeing, certainly in my cohort, certainly in the personality community. And I think, again, I want to be really careful to not ascribe characteristics of my cohort to everybody, but I do think there has been more movement to this. And actually, Dave and Shannon have been seeing this as well in their research and typing of people, just because of the internet and giving everybody so much more information, so much more access. We are having to confront not just our own demons sooner, but, you know, if I live, so I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I got very, very lucky in a lot of ways in that I went to a private school, had an extraordinary education. I'm so fortunate to have like I grew up in a very liberal household, a very academic household, a very forward thinking, like it was fucking amazing. But my parents always made a point, weirdly, to take me to do things in the shitty parts of town. They were like, so I play Magic the Gathering. I played since I was 7.5 years old. I played professionally. The main game store that I went to when I was a kid was on a street called Central. It was in a very rough part of town. But I would go there, you know, multiple times a month. I would usually go, maybe not every week, but I would say, yeah, growing up, I would go maybe 2 or 3 times a month to this particular place. And then I would go to the place that's near me, you know, more frequently, but the place was a little further away. And my parents loved it. They were like, I am so glad that you are getting exposed to different kinds of people, different kinds of neighborhoods, different socioeconomic levels, and getting out of this very affluent suburban community surrounded by, you know, doctors and academics and the stuff like that. They were very, very into that. They always took me to the state fair. They took me to casino. Like, they were very much about showing me the spectrum of human experience, at least in Albuquerque. So I got very, very lucky. And I think that that is something that a lot of people are starting to experience more organically nowadays because of the internet. Hell, even just in our Object Personality Facebook group, it's my favorite place to be on the internet, kind of, because it really is the most diverse community that I am a part of. I truly can't think of any community that's more genuinely diverse. Um, it's incredible, and it's so cool to like talk to people truly from all over the world. We're all working towards a common goal, and we can really see the commonalities between, like, I think of, someone like Clara, who is huge inspiration to me. Her channel is fantastic. They've done videos on her. Her SI is just, it's so good. I love watching her stuff. And it's awesome to watch, me and her, we do not live on the same continent. We have very different cultural experiences in a lot of ways, but this concept of the hero's journey and what it means to be human and all this stuff that transcends these cultural differences, I just think it's so cool. And so I bring all of this up because we are being exposed to so many different walks of life, facets of life, ways of moving about the world. We are starting to get an awareness of our lower functions and of our demons sooner in life. And so here's where like this glass lizard approach, I think, is really, really helpful. And I've used it a lot to track my own demons. And I want to share it with you now. Because unlike the typical Myers-Briggs, where we're like, I don't want to, that's not my responsibility, that's her job to do the SF, I just want NT all day long, why are you making me do my demons? That tends to happen less. I don't see that as much. And from what I have gathered, obviously Dave and Chan's data set is bigger than mine. They're not seeing as much of that either. But what they are seeing, what I am seeing a ton of, is this idea of I'm not allowed. Or, so the I'm not allowed, that tends to be more of the Savior DE phrasing. The Savior DI phrasing is they won't let me. Again, it's getting at the same concept, right? Where it's, I see where I want to go, but I'm not allowed to actually do that thing. I'm not allowed to abandon my saviors, right? And for me, a big part of that, so I've spoken a lot in the group recently about, my demon SF and really getting into it, and like the struggles and the challenges that have come with that. And it's funny, I have demon NF. I have NF last, which is an INTJ, is weird. Again, makes me a glass lizard. And so in some ways, that's almost easier to access, because like once I get through the NT, the ST, and the SF, then doing the NF isn't hard, right? It's not like, oh, fuck, I've gone through all my, now to do my whole demons. It's like, no. You're still using feminine NI at the top with your NF. You just got to do it. And I was like, oh, right, I know this muscle. Great. I just have to apply it to FI instead of TE. It's just getting to the FI that's the bitch. Great, fine, super reasonable, right? And then lately, once I've been working on that and really focusing on the NF stuff, now I'm swinging back around to the SF and being like, okay, what is my SF looking like, right? So like, again, we're just trying to grow the things in sort of a stepwise motion and, not go all in on one thing, then ignore the other one. And right, we're trying to balance, right? Raise all the boats at once with the tide. And so recently I was walking around the other day and I ended up seeing six black Bentleys. So I've always loved Jags. Jaguar has always been my favorite, like, accessible sports car. I actually got to drive, took my car in for repairs, and they're like, oh yeah, we give you a free whatever replacement because it's the warranty. I don't know, whatever they do. They're like, we don't have like normal cars, but we have this black Jag that you can just drive around for 2 days. And I was like, I'm sorry, great, done. I cleared my schedule for the rest of the day and went joyriding up the coast of California in my black Jag. I drove out past Malibu, driving along the Pacific Coast Highway. It was awesome. It was so fucking cool. And I was like, this is it. Like, when am I ever going to get to drive a black Jag and just go joyride? Like, when is this ever going to happen? And so I did it, and it was amazing. It was like I was like, I guess I'm just doing this afternoon because there's no fucking way I'm not taking advantage of this. It's the best. But my super high end, if I ever make like squajillions of dollars and it just doesn't fucking matter. I remember when I was 20 I was in LA. And we were I was either 20. Yes, I was 20 because this was in March. So I hadn't turned 21 yet. This was back in 2006. No, 7? Yeah, 2006. I went to LA for that. So 2007. Right. Yes, it was 2007 because I hadn't turned 21 yet, but I had turned 20. I didn't turn 20 until May. And this was back in March because it was spring break. Hi, yes, hello. Welcome to Masculine Sensory. If you want to learn masculine sensory, like on the fly, like that shit that I just did right there, right, it would have been 2007 because it was in March and I was with my parents looking at grad schools. Anyway, there was a black Bentley on Rodeo Drive that I was like, oh, this Bentley's amazing. And then like the most gorgeous blonde, like busty, she had a British accent. It was amazing. It was so much alliteration in a short period of time. So like maybe the busty British blonde helped my opinion of the Bentley, maybe. But regardless, that was very much, I was like, yeah, Bentleys are dope. And I saw 6 of them the other day, just out of my walk. And I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I am allowed to like Bentleys. I'm allowed to like black Bentleys and think they're cool. And it was such a weird, like, coming to grips with my demons moment that I was like, okay, we got to break this down. Like, we got to figure out what the fuck is going on here. Because that's weird, right? Like, I was definitely being weird about liking things. And it's like, oh my God, you guys, I'm allowed to like things. And then everyone from the outside is like, yes? I didn't know that this was not allowed? I'm confused. What is happening here? They're like, no, you don't understand, guys. I'm allowed to like things. Okay, so what's really going on here? It's not that I didn't know that I liked black Bentleys. I've known that for forever. But it's the being allowed to like it, right? That's what fucked me up. Why did I feel like I wasn't allowed to like black Bentleys? Well, Savior NT. I am responsible. My job, if you want to call it that, like the niche that I feel biological imperative to fill this niche is the detached, abstract, perfectly logical and reasonable, approach to all of the things. There's nothing in NT or ST land that a Bentley does that lots and lots and lots of other cars don't also do for a tenth of the price. And there is certainly like a comfort factor, right? But like new cars are very comfortable. Like there's not the huge gap between like shitty Oldsmobile and Rolls Royce. Like that gap is very small. It is basically purely aesthetic and energetic. And so because I felt such an intense obligation to my Savior NT and Savior ST, the idea of liking a Bentley, well, that's out of the question. That now I'm disrespecting my saviors, right? I am supposed to like Jeeps. You know, I'll tell you what, I'm allowed to like a Range Rover. That fits well within the paradigm of, my NT and my ST. There's a Range Rovers are very practical. They're SUVs. They're sturdy. They have a high safety rating. Great. I am allowed to like, Range Rovers, right? I'm allowed to like Jeeps. I'm allowed to like, what's the other one? I think it's the Nissans, right? That are like super high safety, right? I'm allowed to like those. But I'm not allowed to like Bentleys. Because Bentleys don't pass my NTST test. In order to like a Bentley, I have to bypass my NT and my ST and go straight for my SF in order to like Bentleys. Once I'm there, I'm like, yeah, of course, I fucking love Bentleys. Like, Bentleys are the shit. Are you kidding me? They're amazing. And then comes the tribe hate, again, because I spent so much time in NT land and ST land. And if I'm being really honest, just the realms that I spent a lot of time in were hardcore demon SF. NTST, perfectly fine. NTNF, also perfectly fine. In my artist, activist, academic, nerdy cohort, right, in all of those 4 different circles, NT, NF, and ST are all absolutely acceptable, encouraged, allowed. 100%. SF, however, no dice. Trying to really SF in any of those spaces, oh, that gets your ass kicked so fucking fast. Just super fucking fast. And so again, that's where my phrasing of the I'm not allowed comes from, right? And so I was really like kind of struggling with this for a while. And once I started working out, that was the big like, oh, fuck. Yep, nothing will ever be the same. Because what happened was I was living this very, very NT-centric life. And I was doing everything correctly. I didn't care about the SF. I didn't care about the NF. And I even had the ST, I had the masculine sensory of the ST to back it up. Like, I was doing the things. It was amazing. And then I had like big drinking problems and it was a whole thing. And like my life started to go downhill because I would get sick all the time. And I was just a mess. And then finally I was like, I quit drinking. I did the nature show, the John Denver. And then when I came back, this is in early 2017, I was like, you know what? I want to start working out again. All right, we're doing it. And so I started working out. And I say again, but like, that's only because I had tried to do it before and like tried to do Planet Fitness and tried to do this and that, whatever. And just nothing ever stuck. But I was like, no, you know what? I have a new job. I'm making money. This seems like a really good use of that money. Let's fucking go. And I started doing weight training. I started doing like weightlifting and strength training. And overnight, my life changed, basically. Because what happened was all of this masculine SE at the bottom of my function stack, I was now allowed to do. I finally had permission from wherever to do my demons, right? Now, of course, part of that was a decision. Part of that was, again, there were a number of things going on. But that was really the moment of like, oh, fuck. I am allowed to do this. There actually is not anything preventing me from doing my demons. Shit. All right. I guess if that's the case, then I have to just acknowledge it. Like, I don't get to pretend that my masculine SE is off limits anymore. And in particular, my masculine SE and my FI are now both not off limits. And I don't get to pretend like they are. Right? And that's really where I would say that's where my journey started. That is where my journey started with just my moving to LA, my letting go of all of New York, my like beginning of that kind of hero's journey. Because what happened was I was in Townsfolk land, and then all of a sudden I started working out, and then I saw, oh fuck. Yeah, I see the line where the sky meets the sea. It calls me. The masculine SE line where the sky meets the sea calls me. I can't stay on this island anymore. I have to journey beyond the reef. It's because Moana's everything, guys. It's just Moana is everything. She's all of the things. But it was very much that feeling. And you sort of see, again, just to, drive this Moana analogy into the ground, a lot of it was that, her parents, her father, whatever, they have much more of the, no, we are SI, we are whatever, or NI, or again, whatever, we're the OI. We are not responsible for gathering. That's not what we do. And she's like, we were voyagers. Oh my God, we were voyagers. She's very excited. She just run around the fucking island. But like, that's her big thing, right? And she's like, we have to journey beyond the reef. Now, again, I don't know what Moana's type is. I have a couple of speculations about it. But regardless, that's the feeling that we're going for, right? And so I think that it's really, really useful to track for yourself, not the petulant, I'm not responsible for that energy, because I think that's really hard to spot, right? If you're trying to track what you're not responsible for, that's just really hard to see, right? And you're going to be coming at it from a very confrontational place and from a very fixed mindset place, which is what we're ultimately trying to break out of. So like, maybe we're hamstringing ourselves here, right? I think instead a much more useful, oh geez, see, when you sit up, you got to adjust the thing. So what I think can be and is a lot more useful is looking at it from, what do I feel like I'm not allowed to do? Or what do I feel like other people aren't letting me do? Because now you're actually able to go in and really lay out the problem very, very clearly. Because then you can say, okay, well, so like for me, for instance, right? My big, well, I'm not allowed is, so, the movie Training Day? I fucking love that movie. Like, that movie is my shit. And incidentally, my new favorite TV show that is rapidly climbing the ranks, The Shield, that and Training Day were both based on the same event, the same scandal, the same Rampart division of the Los Angeles Police Department, the LAPD. So again, just in things coming together, like, yes, obviously this is a big part of your energy, but so much of it, like when I watched that, was like, oh, I'm not allowed to be Denzel. I'm not allowed to be Alonzo Harris. That's not for me. I'm not allowed to do that. I'm allowed to be the desk cop. I'm allowed to be the affable partner. I'm allowed to do all of these things that fit firmly within Saviorland, but I'm not allowed to be Denzel. I'm not allowed to be Detective Vic Mackey in The Shield. I'm not allowed to be Jax Teller. And then once I was able to reframe it as I'm not this person, right? Because before it was like, oh no, I'm not Alonzo Harris. I'm not Vic Mackey. I'm not Jax Teller. I'm not Raylan Givens, Unjustified, right? Like all of these people that are really easy for me to rattle off because I'm definitely in the realm of that 100%. It's, once I was able to bring it away from I'm not that, right? And reframe the feeling as I'm not allowed, now I can bridge that gap. Because now if it's I'm not allowed, the immediate question is, by who? Who is telling you can't do this? And then I say, wow, society and the media and my agent and the whatever. And then once I list those four things, be like, okay, well, in that case, the answer is very simple. Fuck society. You literally work in media and you have the power to change that narrative by definition of your job. And if your agent doesn't think that you're right for the things that you think you're right for, drop your agent. Like, these are all very, very surmountable problems, right? It's not that they're not problems, right? But they're not problems in the sense of like unfixable, unwinnable battle, right? And now for me, am I in good enough physical shape to play those roles tomorrow? Maybe, maybe not, right? Depending on how we want to go with the character. If I were to book this role, I would definitely say, listen, what can you do about getting me a trainer? Right? Let me talk can we get a nutritionist? Right? If I got 2 months before I'm filming this pilot, right? Of course, it wouldn't be that fast, but like, if it's like, let's say I booked the gig, I filmed the pilot, whatever, then I say, okay, great. If we're going to series in 2 months, great. Get me a trainer, get me a nutritionist. Like, if we're gonna do this, like, let's fucking do it. Great, whatever, right? But let's say that isn't the case. Let's say I do need to be in better physical shape. Great. I'm working on it. I am en route to doing that. I got a little derailed, right, with the COVID, but also not really, because I just got it forced a different kind of work that I needed to do, and now I'm sort of it forced a lot of NF sleep work that I needed to do, and now that I've brought my NF a little bit higher, now I feel comfortable getting back into the SF, right, the masculine sensory demon side of things, and that's what I've been working on lately. Again, we're just going back and forth, but it became so much easier to track and to overcome once I was able to label it as I'm not allowed versus I'm not, right? Because if you stop at I'm not, well, now we're in fixed mindset. Now your identity's involved. Now it's a whole fucking thing. But if it's I'm not allowed, it naturally raises all of these other questions about, okay, well, who says you're not allowed? Is that chatter coming from inside your head or outside your head? Listen, I can't stand to listen to Lauren Zander talk for more than about 12 seconds before I have to bleach my brain. However, when she talks about the like inner chatter chicken squawking, she ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. And figuring out like, okay, well, where is this narrative really coming from? Is it actually other people saying this to you? Is it people in the past that said that to you and you're just repeating that narrative about who you are and who you're supposed to be? Like, figure that shit out. And by saying I'm not allowed, those questions come up so much more effortlessly and organically. And it actually gets you through whatever it is you're trying to get through. Now, let's be clear. You still have to do all the work. This does not absolve you from doing work or taking responsibility or doing anything, like, for sure, 100%. But it's no longer this like complete, oh, there we go. Jesus. I was zoomed in. Good job, Sensory Raja. Let's see. I was like, why is the framing so strange? Okay, there we go. Jesus Christ. Okay, great. Now we're good. I'm sitting up straight. I'm doing the thing. This is the shot we've been going for. Okay, great. Anyway, my point being, how about that? Let's use that as an example. All right, that's a perfect analogy to tie it up on. So I was zoomed in, right? My face was zoomed in, and I had to like make these weird adjustments, and I couldn't like spread my arms without being out of frame. It was a whole thing. I did my Moana thing. It looked really weird. Okay, great. And I'm like, oh no, that's just how the camera's set up. I guess there's nothing I can do about that. But then going, wait a minute. I feel like there's a whole toggle here. And like it looked like when I was on the interface, it looked like the slider was all the way to the left because it wasn't that far to the right. But I was like, wait, hang on a second. I think that something is wrong here. And so the savior state Raja, right, would look at that and go, I'm not allowed to change that toggle. Right? Or the DI version, they're not letting me change the toggle. Right? If I know I want to change the toggle, I should be changing the toggle, but they're not letting me. It's on them. It's their fault. Right? Which again, it's different phrasing, but it all really does come down to the same basic emotional thrust, which is I'm not allowed. They won't let me change this toggle. As opposed to just going, you know what? I am allowed to change the toggle. And here's the thing. Changing the toggle, especially mid-video, that's going to be a little jarring. Absolutely. 100%. There are going to be people who are turned off by this new perspective. Right? They're like, no, right? We don't need to see like your shoulders and your chest. Like we just need you from the neck up. You know what? That's not my framing. That's not what I'm doing here. Like this is a chest up video. That's my energy. That's my frame. Like we don't want to see the rest of your apartment. Too fucking bad. Right? If this is so off-putting to you, you don't have to watch my videos. Nothing is making you. Nothing is keeping you here. Nothing's stopping you from leaving. You're allowed to do whatever you want. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Like, this is fine. And when I say that, of course, I'm not talking about I'm allowed to punch people and murder people. No, but I'm talking about like I am allowed to make changes that serve my best and highest good. I'm allowed to work on my demons. And if you actually think that I'm not allowed to, then maybe we don't need to be in the same space together anymore. If me working on my demons is such a problem for you, then this relationship is not sustainable. Simple as that. Whether it's a relationship with another person, a relationship with a job, a relationship with an apartment, city you live in. Look, I had to leave New York because I decided I cared about my demons. That's it. If I was pure savior state, NT all the time, NTST blast play, if that's all I ever wanted to do, I could have lived in New York for the rest of my life, for sure. But once I started giving a shit about my lower functions, my NF sleep last, my demon, SF, neither of which are, saviors, my consume, I was like, listen, I can't, if I'm going to be working on this, I can't do that here because that's clearly a big problem for you guys. And look, if that's a problem for you, no harm, no foul. I gotta fucking go. Like, I'm not gonna bang on your head to make you see why I'm right about my identity. That's exhausting. I'm just gonna go where I'm appreciated and loved and valued and accepted, even if that's not here with you. So all of this is to say, this I'm not allowed, try that phrasing. Because I think that it'll open up a lot of demons and avenues for you that are going to be probably a little uncomfortable. Because when it's framed as I don't do that, that's not me, whatever, it's very easy to stay isolated and safe and protected and stuck in that fixed mindset. But I'm not allowed, right? Then it's like, oh, God damn it. Yes, because now it's just a construct. And then you can really assess, like, this thing that I want or I don't want. We can be very clear about this. Look, I've talked a lot about how there was a time for a while, and I still even think about it from time to time, is like being a professional video game streamer, right? Love video games. I love playing games. I love Twitch. I feel like I can do the SF thing really well. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to put in the work to do that. I wouldn't enjoy the process of growing my Twitch channel enough to put in the work required to actually grow it. Yeah, I don't need to do that. I'm good. I am perfectly fine not being a Twitch streamer. Love it, right? But this other thing, this thing where it's like, yeah, I want to be fucking Alonzo Harris. Like, I want to do that kind of role in movies and TV shows. Yeah, okay, there's going to be work that goes along with it, but I'm happy to do it because now I have, again, once I've broken out of this idea of being allowed to do something or not allowed to do something, now I can actually figure out, okay, what does energize me? What serves my best and highest good? What is the best use of my time and energy and talent so that I can grow and give in equal measure, right? All of that becomes super, super, super clear. And it basically takes away all of the excuses that I was creating in a savior state about why I can't work on my demons or I shouldn't work on my demons by just saying, oh, it's this feeling of I'm not allowed to. All the excuses go out the window. And now I can actually start to get to work on the stuff that really matters to me. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you for hanging out with me. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!